Magazines, newscasts such as this have taken such a tremendous turn of events in the past 4 or 5 decades. They're bringing a journalist like you to the anchor desk. What does that mean to what's happening in morning television?
You know, I mean, first of all, we still treat this very much as a news show. That's what gets me out of bed in the morning. That's what gets Savannah out of bed in the morning, and Natalie and Al. And so our responsibility is to cover the biggest stories of the day, tell people what happened at night while they were sleeping, what they need to know to get through the day. There's a lot of other content in a morning show these days. We have 4 hours, first of all, which is a lot of time to fill. And there's a variety, and we do move from very serious, sometimes tragic news to much lighter news and health news and legal news and educational news. So I think what it really means is that as a journalist these days, you have to be more well-rounded, and you have to have interest in a lot of different areas. But the fact of the matter is, Bill, we get out of bed in the morning to cover the news and give people the information they need, and that's always been the case.
As a fan of the show, I've noticed you and your team, you can stop on a dime and make that turn from something very serious to something very lighthearted without blinking an eye.
You have to do that. I mean, there is such a variety in subject matter on the show that there are times where you have to make what would appear to be an awkward turn, but we have a couple of ways to do that. First of all, it's very rare that I will cover a story of a tragedy like Malaysian Air Flight 370 and then turn to something light. What we'll do is we'll switch anchors. So Savannah will pick up the next story, or we'll use a commercial break to make that turn, or we'll use a half-hour switch to make that turn. We try not to make it jarring, but yeah, because we are covering so many different subject matters during the day, there are times where you do make that shift. But I think, you know, it's a little bit like reading a newspaper. If you get the New York Times, which is on my desk in my office right now, and you open the front section, well, there's the news of the day. You slide that across, you've got arts and leisure, you've got sports, you've got all kinds of things. So we treat our show very much the way newspapers treat the sections of their paper.
Well, if we're going to use the analogy of stopping on a dime and making the turn, you have several people in the car at the time. If you're in the driver's seat, something very subliminal. It's called chemistry.
Yeah,
and you guys have that chemistry.
It's always been something when people talk about chemistry, and they've talked about it ever since I've been here with Katie and through Meredith and Ann and now Savannah. And they ask, what is it about chemistry? And I always say, if you could define it, if you could put your finger on it, then everybody would do it. And so it's this intangible thing. It's when two people get together at a cocktail party. What makes one conversation go smoothly and well, where there's no pause and things seem to flow, and another time when you get together with someone and you're constantly stepping over each other, or there are the long pauses. So at the moment, I really love our chemistry on the air. I try not to analyze it too much, because I think if you do, then you try to say, well, this works well for us, let's do more of that. Then it's not natural anymore. So I just try to let it happen organically.
I asked Al this too. Now here's your chance to talk directly to the thousands of people of mid-Michigan, as opposed to seeing them from Midtown Manhattan every morning. What do you tell the folks at home?
I tell the people at home that it's important to get up every morning and check out your local newscast, because that is really the place where you're going to find out what's happening in your day between weather and traffic and the news in your town and your community that's going to impact your life. But I also tell people that we treat what you do in mid-Michigan as the germ for our show and ideas for our show every single day. Every story we cover, almost every story we cover, starts out as a great local story. And so we rely on this relationship between your station and our show extensively, and we hope it stays the same.
As a Today Show anchor, you know, this is rich in broadcast history. What does it feel like from your perspective to be a part of broadcast history?
I pinch myself every day. The fact that I get to work in a place like this that allows me to do amazing things like I was able to do running the Boston Marathon and covering that story over the last year, to feel like you can make a difference in somebody's life, maybe a couple people's lives, it's a great feeling. And I think, you know, what this show gives everybody every day is a feeling that, you know, you're waking up, it's first thing in the morning, and we like to be in your family. We want to include you in our family. And I think people always say, you know, I wake up with you in the morning, and they feel like they know you, which is what I love so much.
It is a difficult job, and I asked Al and Matt the same thing. You're turning the corners so quickly throughout the 2, 3, 4 hours.
Yeah.
How do you do that and make it look so seamless, so easy?
It's a variety show. It definitely is. And I think that's what we thrive on, actually, because you need those, you know, changes in subject. Sometimes it gets really hard, and the stories are hard to tell, and you want something uplifting and light to sort of get off to work in the morning. And we understand that. I think by nature, we understand that the conversation changes over time. So the show changes over time as well. And, fortunately we have a great, producer staff, and they always kind of find a way to mesh things together really well.
Is it safe to say controlled chaos?
Always. Controlled chaos, and not always controlled. Sometimes it's pure plain chaos.
I asked Al and Matt the same question, so
Yeah.
I'll be trite. You have the ability to talk to millions of people every day, thousands of which are in Mid-Michigan. Now you have a direct line to them with my partner here. What do you tell the viewers of Mid-Michigan?
Well, Mid-Michigan, we love you. We thank you for your support. And we just hope you continue to be fans of our show. We are trying to get out there all across America covering stories that matter to you most, that connect with you. And we want to hear your thoughts. You can always send us emails. We're all an open channel of a communication, and love to know what's going on in and around the country.
Al, it is, I'm trying to soak in all of the history. I'm just
There's a lot to soak in here.
So how do you fit
I'm
into
soaked right now.
Broadcast history? I mean,
I got to tell you, people have said to me, this must be a dream job. And I've said to folks, no, because I never dreamt of being on the Today Show. I was happy. When I got a job doing weekend weather here in New York at our NBC station here at WNBC. I'm from New York, and I thought this is as good as it gets. And then to eventually fill in for my idol, Willard Scott, and then eventually take over for him, it really is beyond anything I could have ever thought possible.
it's a trite question. We're always asked.
I'm a trite guy.
What's it like when, hi Al, total strangers are saying hi to you?
It's really very gratifying because people are taking time to stop and say hello. But it still is somewhat unnerving. I don't think I would recognize me if I wasn't me. I'm always stunned that people know who I am. I'm surprised when my kids greet me.
From the 6 o'clock p.m., 11 o'clock p.m.'s point of view, we deliver the news every night.
Right.
You have a difficult challenge turning on and turning off the happiness to sad. Today is a perfect example. How do you and the rest of the team cope with that?
Well, look, you look at it as a continuum. We're on for 4 hours, if you count Kathy Lee and Hoda. Right. And so you're basically, you go from one thing to another. That's what people don't realize, where Savannah and Matt and anybody who's been a host of the show shine. You've got to be news person, talk show host, cook, like a chef. You've got to be able to turn on a dime, all sorts of things. You have to have a little bit of knowledge about everything. And there's nobody better at this than Matt and Savannah, and on the weekends, Lester and Erica. It really is one of those things where you just I marvel at the people I work with.
It's not coincidence they bring journalistic skills to the anchor desk here.
Absolutely. Look, there are other programs that, it's more of a party, and they're not really doing news. We are, the first thing is that this is a news program. It's not a news show, even though it's called the Today Show. It's a news program, and we never forget that.
Based on that, every morning you've got thousands of viewers in Mid-Michigan watching you. You have a platform now directly to them. What do you tell the viewers in Mid-Michigan?
Mid-Michigan, here's what you should do. Make your life so much simpler. Put it on NBC 25 and then throw away your remote.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
Appreciate your time, Al.